Hey guys, and welcome to part 3 of the iMac G4 monitor mod. So let's just get right into it. This is me threading the lvds cable through the neck. Now as you can see, each cable is individual, not bunched like it was before. This is because I had to redo the pinout on both connectors. I'm not sure if it was a manufacturing problem or if there are actually different variants of lvds cable, but the pinout just wasn't working and I had to completely redo it. But I've tested it, everything's working how it should, and it's now just a matter of threading it through. As you can tell, this is a very frustrating process as the hole is so small and you have to get each individual wire through. So for that reason, I'll do this part off camera. As you can see, the connectors are on both sides and all the wires are threaded through properly. So with the metal spring in the middle and this weird arm mechanism, it's going to need some protection because these wires are very flimsy. So I'm just going to put some standard electrical tape around it just for that little bit of insulation and protection. Also, I might be paranoid, but I don't know much about electronics and how wires work, so I want to make sure that these wires do not touch the inverter wires, which are actually quite high voltage. I think it's 12 volts running through this neck in the inverters, so I want to make sure they don't contact each other in any way possible. I think this will suffice, but this part here is what I was most worried about, the spring and the arm mechanism, but it all looks good and we are ready to get the inverter extension cables running through this neck. This pack contains the inverter cable extensions. There are 5 and they just plug into each other, as you'll be able to see, and it allows me to run the inverter cables down the neck, which I couldn't before because the original one was so short. As you can see, this is going to be a very tricky and tedious process, so I'll be doing this bit of wiring the inverter through the neck off camera. At this point, I also think it's fair to credit that my dad is going to be helping me with this as well, as he will be for putting the spring and the neck back together properly. So here is the arm complete with the lvds and inverter cables threaded through. They're both shielded, but as you can see, we have a problem. The spring mechanism on one side has popped out. This is a common thing with dismantling these things. It always pops out, always breaks, and they're incredibly difficult to get back into place. Now, I'm going to have to get my dad to help me on this one, so I'm not going to be filming it, but basically what we are going to do is force both ends back into the holes for the screws. So after a lot of effort, we have finally got everything working properly. As you can see here, all the wires are indeed running through the neck, and we are pretty much ready to start putting everything back together again. So as we can see here, I've installed the arm onto the base. Now it's just a matter of installing the screen. So if we thread the wires through the hole on the back of the screen, that's the lvds and the inverter cables, and screw in the 4 screws which connect the back of the display mount to the arm, we should be good to go and ready to install the display. Next, we'll connect the inverter extensions to the bottom of the LCD. This powers its backlight. Also, we need to connect the LVDS cable to the top. Now, this is again quite fiddly, so I'll do it probably mostly off camera, but the screen just slides into place and it is probably one of the easier parts of the project. So with all the cables connected to the LCD and the screen slid into place, we are ready to secure it with these 3 screws on the bottom. I believe they all use a 0.5mm Allen key, so it's not too rare or anything. You should pretty much be able to find one lying about your house. So yeah, 3 screws are just attached to the bottom. Very easy stuff. Now it's time to sort out the base. This is a controller board being plugged into the inverter. I'm pretty much just going to let these sit in here. They don't really need to be protected too much, but I am going to put some electrical tape on the bottom. Now it's just a matter of connecting the bottom back to the base. We pretty much just screw this on. The outside, which you just saw me take off, the metal shield, that's just a standard Phillips screwdriver, whereas the ones I'm screwing in now are Torx 10. So that is about it for the build video. Next video I'll be showing you it in my setup. Thank you very much for watching and I will see you in the next one.